Welcome back to another episode of CMC Spotlight. I'm your host Sabrina Zema, and on today's episode, we have cheerleading state champions from Linganore High School. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It seems like each year we have Linganore High cheer on their show because of the great program they have. How does it feel to be part of such a great program and to be three-time state champions?
It feels good. A lot of people know us, and that's really good, you know, like that makes me excited.
Our school has a good legacy, so it's like we know what we have to work towards. We have a good goal.
It definitely puts pressure to make us better because we have to uphold what we did last year, and we always have to strive to be better each year.
Is there pressure to be the best at LHS?
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, because we have a lot of talent, and there's a lot of talent in our state too, so there's a lot to go up against.
And people look for us, like since we've won states a couple times, people look for us and earlier on in the season, so making an impression early on is really important.
How was it cheering during COVID with the lack of fans in the stands?
It was definitely different. Not as many people were there, but they were all watching on live streams.
We feed off our crowd, and you need a cheerleader to you need a crowd to feed off a cheerleader. It's like a thing.
The more crowd there is, the more energy we have in our routine.
So it was definitely lack of that, and it was harder to find a substitute, but we made it work.
Yeah.
So can you explain the difference between competition cheer and sideline cheer?
Sideline cheers, we're not going against anyone. Well, the football team is. But we have the student section cheering with us, and they get all into it, and it brings us more into the game.
I'd say sideline cheer is definitely just a connection between you, the band, the student section, and it's just everyone coming together, school spirit. But competition is just you and your team, and that's family. So it's two different sets of,
It's two different types of cheerleading.
Yeah,
Which
two
do
different
you
connections.
prefer?
I like both for different reasons. They're so different.
I love being in the crowd. I love
the school spirit.
Yes, I love all of that. I love cheering for our football team because we have a good football team, so it's fun to cheer for them. But also, competition just gives you an adrenaline that you don't get from the sidelines.
So let's talk about sideline cheer first. How does the energy feel when you're on the sideline cheering?
It's so much fun because you have the student section, the tribe that we call. They just get so into it. We have certain cheers that they do with us, and it just makes the game so much more fun.
Yeah, it definitely spices it up when your student section's involved with your crowd. Your student section's involved with your other crowd, the parents and then the band and us. It makes it a lot more enjoyable. And I know that the football players definitely feed off that more because there's more energy throughout it.
Now competition cheer. Before we start, let's take a look at the winning routine. Walk us through this routine.
So we start with, we have a basket in the beginning and we have a show and go. And then we have like 5 people tumbling in the beginning.
Your opening is like the first part, which she's talking about, all that stuff. It's so important because that's like, you're drawing your attention, you're showing who you are, like that's your first impression.
It's
so
the
it's
first
so
thing
important.
the judges see.
So we like to do some flashy things and throw some things up to make like the judges, like we want to catch their eye really quick into the routine.
And then we have team tumbling that you get scored on. And then we have cheer, so we have to like create that into the routine, and you have to make sure all of your motions are sharp and that you're loud enough for everyone to hear you in the crowd.
It's really like, since they're big arenas, you have to scream really loud, and when you're competing, you don't really have like a lot of voice because you're breathing really heavy, so you have to make sure like your voice echoes, and there's a lot of factors in the routine that you have to incorporate, like to meet standardized, like you have standards that you have to meet, and we make sure that we put those in, but we also add some fluff, and that's what makes it like showy and blingy and like wow, the wow factors of it.
Is it scary when you're practicing all that?
Practicing or competing?
Practicing.
Practicing isn't that scary because you're just, the bond that you have with your teammates, like you have to trust. Cheerleading is all about trust because you're throwing people up in the air. Like you have, like she's a flyer and I'm under her. She has to trust that if she comes down and something goes wrong, I'm gonna catch her. Like everyone has to do their part. So it could be scary, but for us,
it could be a little nerve-wracking when you're starting a new skill, but it's all about trust. Like you can't do a new skill if you don't trust your teammates.
And we've all been together so long, so we all have that trust, so it's kind of like, it's not as scary, it's more fun and like working together, you know?
Do you ever think you might get hurt?
It's always a thought in the back of your mind, but you know, trust comes back in, like you know your teammates aren't gonna let you fall.
And especially when like you're tired, and those are the parts like that you really need to work with your teammates, because when you are like at your weaker times and like you're tired from practice, you need your teammates to be doing their part and you need to do your part, or else someone is going to get hurt, which that's when it's scary, but we do pretty good about making sure that we're there for everyone.
How do the coaches decide who gets to be on the mat for the competitions?
It depends on everyone's skill set.
It's
Everyone's
also
different.
really hard for them because our coaches are very close with us, so to take someone off the mat is hard for them, but it's all about what's going to make us win, and that's like not a greedy thing to say because everyone wants to win.
But we have a rubric that we have to hit on the score sheet to have the high score so we can win.
Yeah.
Who comes up with your routines and how do you keep them fresh and different?
We watch so there's teams all over, like cheer is just like worldwide, everything. So you can like look on Instagram and see little things, but you'll see them and we'll take them and change them and put them in our routine and do them to where we can do them, like our skill set. So it's all about like just looking around and seeing like different ideas, and also we try to like do new things. Like this year we had a couple new things in our routine that people like took, so it feels good that other people like our stuff when we use it because it's like unique and we see other people using it.
And we all work together to put in like fluff and different skills. We all have our ideas.
Our coaches are very lenient, like, and they let us have our
We have a
moments.
good say in our routine.
So, Corinne, I hear that you're thinking about going to Salisbury. Are you going to cheer there?
I want to. I just emailed the coaches because I took a while to decide where I wanted to go to school, and then I decided on Salisbury, and I just emailed the coaches and reached out, and that's hopefully the plan to cheer there this upcoming fall.
What about you?
I don't know where I'm going yet. I'm a junior, so I haven't really looked into colleges yet, but it is a consideration of cheering in college.
Thank you guys for being on the show. Good luck to you in the future. We'll see you next time on another episode of CMC Spotlight.